Welcome back to another segment of Behind the Scenes of the Waltons. Recently, when I did my tribute to Lynn Hamilton, David Harper called me shortly after that and said that he would like to share some of his personal experiences and thoughts about Lynn. So please help me welcome David Harper. Good to see you, David.
Yeah, it's good to be seen.
Yeah. So I know when we lost Lynn Hamilton recently that you reached out to me and to let me know, but also to say that you had things that you would like to share or that I might not know and that our viewers might not know. So thank you for that. And I'm looking forward to hearing about your ongoing conversations with Lynn, because I sort of lost track of her after the series, unless we were at some sort of a Walton event that she was at. We always exchanged Christmas cards every year, but that was about it.
Well, up until the time Frank died, we talked at least twice a month. And we would usually talk scripture and, just philosophy and stuff. So we would talk for about 45 minutes. And I really missed that. When Frank died, she started to have her short-term memory issues. And then I guess her daughter took her out to Chicago, and I pretty much lost touch with her at that point.
Well, for people who don't know, Frank was Lynn's husband for many years. So, he was a lovely man. And
oh, yeah. Very gifted writer, too. Well, I've been to her house a couple times, but, and of course, now I wish I'd stayed in more contact with her, but I held Lynn in such high regard, when she crossed over. I thought, well, I want to honor her. And so luckily, you're giving me that ability to do that. Hal called me and told me. And I can tell he was broken up about it, but he had talked to her, I think, about 9 months ago. And she was very cognizant, knew who he was and everything. And she said, I guess she was on some kind of a medication that was really helping. But then he talked to her, I think, like a month before she died, and she didn't know who he was. And that hurt him. So, and I'm sure he misses her terribly. He told me once that he doesn't want to do autograph shows with us anymore because Lynn wasn't going to be there.
Oh.
And I understand that, So anyway, I always thought she did more episodes with us than she actually did. I think she did like 2 or 3 times more mini episodes of Sanford and Son.
Yes, many more. Yeah, and there were several seasons that she didn't do episodes at all. When I was looking at that history, when I wanted to pay tribute to her, I was surprised. And I'm sure that was just because she was doing other shows. Hal, they both had multiple series going at the same time that they were regular or recurring characters in.
Yeah, I think he was doing Sanford and Son the same time. But, in our mind, it seems like they were there all the time.
It did. They had such a strong presence that we felt it. And as soon as they walked back on, it was like they'd just been there.
Yeah. I found it interesting that I think she only did 17 episodes of the Waltons. It felt like a whole lot more than that.
Yeah.
I mean, don't quote me on the exact number, but
I can check that.
Yeah.
Because we can do edits and stuff.
Well, I wish she was on more.
Yeah. I mean, she was so wonderful. Yeah. And Hal too. I mean, and the two of them together were just perfect.
Well, they both said
she did 17 episodes.
One of my favorite episodes is the one where Jason helps her to look into her heritage. Very powerful episode.
Tree. Yeah. She had a number of very powerful episodes with just where they were really about her story, which didn't happen a lot with our sort of recurring characters, recurring actors, but that one, the roots when we introduced Harley, and that the family tree when she searched for that, and of course the one that introduced her, the scholar, where she to sort of
and
she couldn't read.
I want to mention the episode where her daughter comes back to Walton's Mountain.
Yes, the illusion.
And I got a chance to fill in her storyline a little bit, but she did get some good material, especially after Richard had left. I didn't initially like our last 4 seasons. They just didn't feel the same. But in retrospect, I've decided I like them because characters like Ike and Corbeth got storylines. And of course, Lynn got a couple, and Miss Mamie and Miss Emily. So I've decided that the last 4 episodes were good just for that fact alone.
That's a good point. I agree. And I've had viewers say that also, that they felt that although Richard's presence was definitely missed, John Boy was missed, that it in some ways became more of an ensemble. And so a lot of other people, and for us also, sometimes, because John Boy wasn't the focus of every episode, pretty much, with his storylines, that we each, and John certainly got a lot more storylines, because he sort of stepped up into storylines that I think would have been Richard's.
Yeah, and then when Michael was gone for a while, they had to find things to put in there, and so I don't know. It makes me feel suddenly old to realize that we're like 52 years old. That's how long. That's how long you and I have known each other. Probably 53 years, because I have to include the homecoming.
Right.
So, but that's okay. We're old.
I remember that every morning when I get up.
Oh, well.
Go, ow, yeah.
Oh, well, thankfully my knees haven't popped in a while, but you know what they say, it's not the year of the car, it's the mileage, but that can't be true, because if that was true, I should look a lot older than I am. I still got the baby face kind of, so anyway, well, to me, Lynn was a very gracious lady, very genteel. I loved her command of language. She spoke deliberately, and she raised the bar real high. And I've met a few people like that. Kind of like Ronnie Claire's character, Corbeth, but with her, it was kind of a snooty way she portrayed Corbeth. But with Verdie, Lynn was, gracious off camera. I mean, just a really noteworthy woman. And I wish she'd been able to finish her autobiography. I would have loved to have read that.
Oh,
she grew up
working on one, huh?
Yeah, she had gotten to the point where she was putting down memories on note cards, but then her memory loss started to kick in, and she was from Yazoo City, Mississippi. I read her biography online when she passed away, and I guess she moved to Chicago when she was like 5. But when she was born, she was living in the Jim Crow South, and it was very poor. The only other famous person from Yazoo City is Stella Stevens. So, I don't know if people find that interesting or not, but I'm like, yeah, I know a famous person from Yazoo City, Lynn Hamilton,
I would hope that perhaps her note cards and what she was starting to craft as an autobiography can perhaps be taken, and someone can
I'd love to find out what happened to that.
Even if it's not complete, it would be, I think, something that so many of us would love to read, and all of her fans, and just however much she shared that we don't know would be a gift.
who knows what happened to those note cards. But every time I talked to her, I'd be like, how's the book coming, Lynn? She's like, oh, it's slow going. She started it. She just didn't get the chance to finish it.
Yeah. Well, Michael's been talking about writing a book forever. She's, and we keep saying you should, Michael, you should, even if you dictate it to somebody, if you have somebody come and sit with you and take notes and record, do it, talk into a recorder and then let somebody else sift through it and ask you the questions. I mean, there's so many ways to do those. And
well, you know how Michael is. She's so humble. She'll say something like, oh, nobody wants to read anything about me, which is that's the reason why you really want to read her life story.
Yeah. I mean, we've been so blessed to have the people that we've had in our lives, that the wonderful actors and people, they were wonderful people first and talented actors on top of that. And, we weren't surrounded by a lot of egos and selfish people.
And I don't know, we just had a connection. I was trying to remember if I had any scenes with just Jim, Bob, and Verdie. I mean, we were in some scenes together and stuff, but I don't know if I had a special moment. I mean, I'd forgotten about that scene I have with Corbeth on the road. I was kind of happy that I had that. I had forgotten about it. As with most of the series, it's either too long ago or it's a repressed memory. Take your pick. Yeah, it just seems like a million years ago now. So much has happened, but I wish we'd done more shows with Lynn and Hal.
Yeah. Well, I know you have stayed very close with Hal. And you're in regular contact with him, and that you two get together, not strictly Walton events and things like that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think it was last year. I think it's when Michael did the Hollywood show in October. And we drove out to Palm Desert to spend the day with him. He took us to his favorite Italian restaurant, and we spent the afternoon at his house. And I try to stay in contact with him. He's in Hawaii right now. It's just too hot for him up there. He lived not too far from Ralph.
Yeah, and I know he said he lived across the street from Lynn for a lot of years. To Lynn and Frank.
Well, yeah, maybe that was back when we were all working and stuff. But Hal held Lynn in very high regard. I think we all did, but sometimes relationships are a little special and you don't want to share them with people. But, and I went on her IMDb page and was surprised to learn there's so many things that she was on that I have yet to see, and she had a good body of work. She was a character actress, right? And I wish she'd worked more. I wish she'd had her own show. That would have been wonderful. But you can't cry about it now. It's not that we lost her, but that we had her at all. And I'm so happy to have known her. Yeah. And, I almost want to download a really good picture and have it put on a T-shirt. That's how much I admire and respect her. Maybe a picture of her as Verdie or Donna, Fred Sanford's girlfriend or something. It's funny, the Sanford stuff, you watch that and you go, well, she could do comedy really well. And of course, Hal was on there too. And it's like old home week, right?
Yeah. I loved when I talked with Hal and talking, because I loved Private Benjamin. I loved his character. And the whole kind of the history. He told me about the audition for that and what he did, and that Goldie Hawn was actually happened to be there, and he got to do his audition with Goldie Hawn, and how game she was to just go along with what he was. He got into that drill sergeant mode, and it was,
Well, I'm sure Lynn enjoyed watching him and stuff as much as we did.
Yeah.
They both said that they felt very privileged to do the Waltons because it kind of got them a lot of work. So, and we do these autograph shows from time to time. And You know, I wish I'd had the forethought to get Lynn to autograph a photo for me. That would be a very precious possession now. But hey, I got to have really quality conversations with her twice a month, well after the show was over. I mean, I feel kind of special because I think I'm the only one of the kids that stayed in contact with them. Not that we were completely out of contact, but I think Lynn and I had kind of a special connection. I mean, at least I like to think that we did, because she's always happy to hear from me. And I love getting a hold of her, you know. And so I have some memories nobody can steal from me.
Yeah. And that's great, because we get so busy with our lives that it's easy to, not because you don't love somebody and care about them, but you can not make time, or it's like, oh, I'll do that tomorrow, I'll do it next week. And then you don't. So, you know, bravo to you for making it happen and for reaching out. I mean, you've done that with all of us over the last few years that, you know,
I
gotten much more in touch, that you've been kind of back in our lives again, because you weren't really for a while. So.
I had my monastic period, but I tried to stay in touch with Sissy Wellman, and you know, my favorite person on the whole show was Robert Donner. What a great character actor he was.
Oh, yeah. So
but
good.
You know,
yeah.
When I'm channel surfing and I come across a movie that Lynn was in that I wasn't familiar with, that's a real treat for me. It's like, oh, there's Lynn, you know. And I'll same thing with Hal. Hal still pops up on stuff I haven't seen, and even to this day, I will run into something that Ralph did that I wasn't aware of. I was happy when Lynn died to see so many tributes to her. And I think she deserved that. She warranted it. And that made me very happy. You know, I wish people had paid more attention to her when she was with us. But yeah, because, you know, sometimes celebrities cross over and you get a few mentions for a few days. I saw lots of stuff on her, more so than usual. You know, and you're probably like me. I don't care if you only did one episode. If you were on the show, you're family.
Yeah.
And we always looked at Lynn and Hal as family.
Definitely.
We didn't see them all the time, but I think we were really close to them. You know, and it's a beautiful thing.
They felt that too, because they certainly seemed to whenever we saw them.
Well, when they'd come in the morning, if they were filming that day, I mean, when Lynn would come in the morning, I'd go up to her and go, "Hey, Lynn, you look great." She'd go, "David, you little charmer." I think she thought I was just putting her on, but you know, there was something about Lynn. I don't know that I had a crush on her or anything, but I was always attracted to her. I wanted her to like me. I wanted to be her friend, and I got that. So how blessed am I? You know, I didn't know that I had that many stories about her. I really just wanted to express my love and what a special place she has in my heart. And she always will. I mean, I don't know. You know how life is. Sometimes somebody just speaks to you in a way and you want to be friends with them forever.
Definitely.
I think everybody that met Lynn probably felt similar about her.
Well, she made us feel that way. I mean, I think she made everybody feel that way, like you wanted to be in her presence. That's
one of the qualities that she had. I mean, she was just attractive. You wanted to be around her. And, you know, you mentioned this earlier about how when we were doing the show, we weren't like all into it and self-absorbed. I mean, it's something we did and we tried to do it well, but, you know, it wasn't a big deal. You know, this just kind of like an everyday thing. And that's probably what made it good. So, I mean, I'm surprised she only did 17 episodes. In my mind, it felt like a lot more. And I'm like, oh, there was whole seasons that she wasn't in.
Yeah.
I wish she had been able to do more. But what she did do, she always did well. And she never tried too hard. You never caught her acting. And she, I mean, she was gracious in everything she did. I don't know. She's just an exceptional woman to me. Mm. But yeah, it was a privilege to know her, and I miss her quite a bit. But she got her great homecoming. And it's not that we lost her, but that we had her at all.
I want to thank David for reaching out and for sharing his experiences and what Lynn meant to him. I will be back with more behind the scenes of the Waltons, more Ask Judy, and more special guests. Thanks for watching.